Hello, World Civ 106. Welcome to week 3. And so I appreciate that you all, kindly let me know. Yes, you did watch the announcement video, and I don't know why YouTube was saying it was one view, but I just wanted to make sure. Plus, I had some students asking me questions that I addressed within the video, so I just wanted to make sure everybody was watching my announcement. So I'll try to make these a little bit shorter and concise and helpful for you to clarify information. So look, this week, so the last week's module, I separated two big subjects into a Thursday section and a Sunday. Well, this week you have a lot. You have the cram course type of situation with all the videos you have to watch, but the assignment section is being treated like it's just a normal semester. It's just that you have more video notes, and those can be those are to be turned in Sunday, not Thursday for this week. The only thing Thursday that you need to turn in is going to be the discussion. Okay. And so that's that. So we're doing ancient Israel and Judaism. I love this topic. I really love to teach this in person because I love teaching Christianity. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are my specialties, really. And I really enjoy teaching them. But that leads me to point out something really quick. First of all, and this is the last time I'm going to say it, I'm going to grade low for those who don't listen. You have to do notes on all of the videos. I said this before, but I'll say it again. Every video that I post, unless I say you don't need to do notes on it, I want to see notes, because it's the only way that you prove that you watched it. And I want you to learn as well. But having said that, I'm not always having you watch a video necessarily to always fully promote what's in the video. So I had you watch the Coptic Orthodox video, which is very much a missionary type of video. They're saying, telling it's the church promoting the church, the Coptic church. Keep in mind, I'm not anti and I'm not promoting anything like that. It's mainly what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you a legacy of Egypt that I know that most of you never even thought of, which is the legacy of of Christian Egypt. And now they are a very large minority within the Egyptian world. The majority religion now is Islam, which we'll cover later. But I just thought it was important for you I just really wanted to kind of like make that clear in your mind. Especially because I used to be a substitute teacher, and I had several classes, middle school, which is a little more forgivable, but also high school, like seniors, that literally thought there were no more Egyptians. They thought they were pharaohs and pyramids. They didn't realize that it was a large country now with a very different set of histories other than the pharaohs and the pyramids, you see. So, if you don't account for Christianity and Islam and Egyptian history, you're going to lose a lot, at least, for the last few centuries or more. Okay, and this leads me to say another thing. Even the documentaries that I have you watch, I don't agree with everything. So be skeptical. When I address something like, Sigmund Freud had a theory on ancient Egypt and the pharaohs and monotheism and all that, I'm mainly just trying to expose you to some of the discussions that take place or took place, and sometimes by famous people over the topics we're going over. And so just be very careful to pay attention to the way that I present information, where if I'm promoting an idea, if I'm telling you a consensus view, or I'm merely sharing an alternative perspective. And when I'm doing that, I'm not usually always clarifying all the time if I myself have bought into that idea or not. Sometimes I'll tell you. And so when it comes to the ancient Israel and Judaism lectures, I think a lot of you will enjoy this as well, but this is actually my most controversial set of lectures. One of my top, more than evolution actually. And the reason is that most of a good chunk of you living in the Central Valley, which is mainly who I have right now as my students, are Christian. And some are Jewish, but evangelical Christian in particular, or Catholic. And your view of the Bible is often of it being literal history that you trust as true history. It's actually called divine history, right? Now, I'm not disputing any of that. Remember, what I do is I teach what the consensus view of historians are. And the thing is that when we talk about ancient Israel and the Bible, historians approach it from the same position that they approach reading about Troy and some other ancient texts, historical, a discussion about history. Let's say that, or even just reading a text like the Odyssey or something. Sometimes it seems like they're really attacking the Bible. But what you have to realize is that they're not attacking the Bible, they're actually just treating it in the same way that they treat all other historical documents, with some skepticism, and they try to look at it and see what archaeological evidence and other sources have to say and how that adds up with the text. Now, I'll let you know as well that for many Christian theologians, if you study to become a pastor or a priest, they get exposed to all of this. And some of them have their own ways of dealing with it. So, for example, I've known men of the church who believe that the Bible isn't literal history, but God inspired these stories to disseminate divine truths. So they're God-inspired stories, but the history is not necessarily literal. But I grew up under a tradition myself where the literalness of the history is as uncompromisable as its divine truth. And so that is the approach of a believer. Now, for those of you who did not grow up in this biblical tradition of a Christian world, you might be a little shocked. And, why this is an issue. Well, you're learning about that with us now. You also might say, well, wait, I thought we were talking about Judaism. Why are you bringing up Christianity? Good point, right? Now, when I was at UCSC, I took an ancient Israel class, and I had a friend who was a Chabad. He was an Orthodox Jewish, like a Chassid. And he really was more like a fundamentalist Christian, or an evangelical, as you'd say. He took it as a literal history, and he used to get really angry at my professor, who was really passionate about the Bible. He was going to be a Catholic priest, this Frenchman, before he became a professor. But he taught ancient Israel as from a secular point of view, and my friend they were duking it out in the classroom. And it ended up working out okay. The thing is my friend survived the propaganda of the secularists, and my professor survived the fanatic passion of my friend. Now, I usually don't have too much of a problem with this. I just want you to be aware. So you're going to see that the book of Joshua, who I'm named after, is heavily questioned by modern historians. So just be aware of that, and approach it like you did with the evolution. You're disseminating ideas out there on the topic. They don't have to. It's not necessarily a compromise to your faith if this is something that's sensitive for you. Okay, so that's mainly what I wanted to say about that. And is there anything else? Okay, well, I didn't get a chance to tell the other class, but I had an immigration. My immigration issues haven't gone away. And so I'm going to be going to Hong Kong on Saturday, and I have to float around Asia until I figure out my life right now. But I'll be able to keep focusing on my work. I might end up in Malaysia for a month or two. And so we'll just see. And then I might be able to go back to Thailand after I resolve something there, get a student visa or get a job there. So anyhow, we'll talk more about that later. But I hope you're having a great week, and we'll be in touch. Write me if you got any questions.